The wind howled, carrying the scent of exhaust fumes, as a car sped down the highway, the screech of its tires fading into the distance. Alone, a dog lay in the dirt, its fur matted and worn from days spent wandering the unforgiving road. The sound of an engine starting, the screech of tires, and then silence. A lonely bark echoed as the dog, bruised and weak, struggled to stand, its eyes scanning the barren landscape. It had been abandoned, left to fend for itself, with no one to help. Its once joyful bark was now a cry for help, but no one heard. The world had forgotten this dog, this loyal creature who had once been a pet, a friend. Now it was just another stray. The dog limped, dragging its injured paw as it stumbled forward. There was no hope in its eyes anymore, just survival. But still, somewhere deep inside, there was a flicker of trust, of longing for something it could not even remember. A home, a family, love. It sniffed the ground, searching for scraps, anything to fill its empty stomach. The world moved on, oblivious to its plight. The dog's collar was barely visible, torn and battered, a faint reminder of a past it could not grasp. It stopped for a moment, looking at the road, hoping that a car would slow down, that someone would stop and help, but the road remained empty. It wasn't just hunger that gnawed at its insides, it was loneliness. The dog wanted love, and that was the one thing it couldn't find on its own. Days blur together as the dog continues its endless journey. It doesn't know where it's going, only that it must keep moving. The streets are empty, the world indifferent. Sometimes a friendly voice echoes from behind a door, but when the dog approaches, the door slams shut, the echo of footsteps retreating inside. Other times it finds the harsh sting of human rejection, shouting and being chased away from dumpsters. Its body grows weaker, but the spark of hope, however faint, refuses to die. A soft whine escapes its lips as it collapses beside a bench, watching families stroll by without a second glance. The dog's hunger gnaws at it, but the emptiness inside is far worse. Its heart aches with loneliness. But something keeps it going. Maybe it's the memory of a time before all this. Maybe it's a quiet voice in its mind telling it to hold on, that love is still out there somewhere. One day, as the dog drags itself through a new neighborhood, it smells something different. Food, the scent of warmth. Its stomach growls loudly, but this time, the aroma doesn't fade. A door opens, and a kind face appears, looking down at the dog with concern. It's a moment of grace, a human who sees the dog for what it is. The face kneels, and for the first time in so long, the dog feels a hand, gentle and warm, brush its fur. It flinches at first, unsure of this kindness, but slowly, it leans into the touch. For a moment, the pain, the hunger, and the loneliness seem to disappear, replaced by the simple joy of affection. But the joy is fleeting. The door closes, and the dog is left outside, its heart torn between the hope that something better awaits and the fear that it will never belong. Just when things seem to be looking up, the dog is chased away by another person. The kindness it had briefly tasted disappears in an instant. This time the dog is not allowed to stay, its hopeful eyes meeting those of a stranger who is either too busy or too cruel to care. It runs, its heart breaking, as it watches a figure walk back inside the warm house. With no place left to go, the dog retreats into the shadows, exhausted, discouraged, and more alone than before. Its spirit feels crushed, but it cannot give up, not yet. The fight isn't over. The hunger pangs return, sharper this time, but the deeper ache, the need for love, for belonging, cuts even deeper. As the dog limps through a forgotten part of town, it sees something unexpected. A small animal, a kitten, shivering in a corner. This tiny creature, just as lost as the dog, reminds it of its own vulnerability. The dog approaches cautiously, the last remnants of hope flickering within. This time, the instinct to protect is stronger than the need to run. The dog nudges the kitten, trying to comfort it. A bond forms between the two, one of shared loneliness, of mutual understanding. They sit together in silence, the world indifferent to their struggle. The kitten looks up at the dog with trusting eyes, and the dog, for the first time in a long while, doesn't feel so alone. The dog, now not alone, feels something stir inside, a glimmer of hope for a future that doesn't involve running or hiding. It spends its days caring for the kitten, sharing what little food it can scrounge. The bond between them is unspoken, but it's real. The dog keeps watch over the kitten as if it were its own. No longer does it feel abandoned, at least not entirely. The world, however, is still a harsh place. A passerby throws an empty bottle toward them, the message clear: you don't belong here. The dog growls softly, defensive, yet protective. This tiny family it has created means everything now. For the first time in ages, the dog feels the purpose it has been searching for. But trust doesn't come easily. The dog is still haunted by the pain of past betrayals, shut out from homes, rejected by people it had once believed could offer love. As it looks into the kitten's wide eyes, it wonders if this time will be different. Can it trust that this little creature, fragile and innocent, will not abandon it like the others? Every day, it wrestles with the temptation to run, to escape before it can be hurt again. But with every act of kindness, the sharing of food, the comforting presence, the dog feels its walls crumble. Slowly, a bond is forming, one that promises to be different. Just as the dog begins to believe that perhaps things could get better, the cruel hand of reality strikes again. A man with a sharp whistle calls for the dog, but it ignores him, still holding the kitten close. The man approaches with a leash and collar, his eyes filled with that same coldness the dog had learned to recognize all too well. He tries to grab the dog, but the dog snarls, its hackles raised, defensive and protective of the kitten. "Bad dog," the man growls, swinging his foot toward the dog. The dog leaps backward, eyes wide with fear. It's as if the world never changes. Even now, it can't escape the cruelty that has followed it for so long. The kitten is startled, its small body trembling. But just as the man takes another step forward, the dog lets out a loud bark, a warning shot to let him know this time will be different. The dog stands firm, no longer backing down. The man steps back, clearly unnerved by the dog's defiance. He mutters something under his breath and turns away, leaving the two animals behind. The dog watches the retreating figure with suspicion, heart pounding, but it knows it has won this round. The world might never change, but in this moment, the dog has a taste of victory. Its bond with the kitten has strengthened. The little creature looks up at it with wide, trusting eyes, and the dog nuzzles it gently, a silent promise that it will protect it no matter what. Together, they move into the alley, further away from the harsh world that never quite seemed to accept them. As the days pass, the dog and the kitten find a small patch of green behind an old, abandoned building. It's not much, but it's theirs. The dog digs a small hole, creating a makeshift bed for the kitten to curl up in. At night, they sleep together, the warmth of each other's bodies the only comfort in a world that had shown them little. The dog no longer feels the heavy weight of loneliness. It knows that, for once, it has a place, a purpose. The world may still be full of dangers, but it has found something more valuable, a companion. And in this small corner of the world, they are safe. Just as the dog begins to settle into its new life with the kitten, danger comes from an unexpected source. A new neighbor, a man with an air of authority and sharp eyes, notices the duo. His gaze lingers too long, his demeanor cold, and it's clear the dog doesn't trust him from the first glance. The dog's instincts flare up. It feels the familiar sensation of being watched, of being marked as an outsider once again. The kitten, unaware of the danger, plays nearby, oblivious to the mounting tension. The man approaches slowly, his voice smooth as he calls out to the dog. "You found a new home, haven't you?" he says, but his words carry an edge. The dog stiffens, its muscles tense, every sense on high alert. Despite the growing sense of unease, the kitten remains blissfully unaware of the danger surrounding them. It bounces playfully toward the man, drawn to his movement. The dog's heart races. It can't let the kitten fall into the hands of someone so unknown, so dangerous. The kitten, with its innocent eyes and trusting nature, has no concept of the threats that linger in the shadows. It nuzzles the stranger's hand, seeking affection. But the dog doesn't let its guard down. It has learned too much to trust easily. The man, noticing the dog's protective stance, grins. "She's a good little thing, isn't she?" he says, his tone mocking. "But you'll never be able to protect her forever." The dog growls low in its throat, warning the man to stay away. It knows something's wrong, but it can't yet figure out why. The dog can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. The man's presence, his strange words, they all feel like a warning. It's not just the kitten that's at risk, it's everything they've worked so hard to build. The man leaves after a few moments, walking away as if he has everything under control. But the dog isn't fooled. It knows better than to let its guard down again. It watches the man leave, its body tense, and the moment he turns the corner, it darts forward, grabbing the kitten gently by the scruff of its neck. The dog pulls it into the safety of the shadows. The world is still cruel. The dog knows that now. But it also knows that, for the first time in a long time, it has something worth protecting. The following days are tense. The man seems to keep his distance, but the dog knows better than to think it's over. In the meantime, the dog takes the kitten to a new part of the city, hoping to find refuge and a place to breathe. There, in a quieter corner, they meet another dog, a large, older shepherd who has also known hardship. The older dog watches them cautiously at first, its eyes wary, but slowly, they approach each other. The older dog sniffs the kitten, then the dog, as if sizing them up. After a long pause, the older dog nods, seemingly accepting them into its domain. "Not many survive these streets," the older dog says, his voice gruff but kind. "But you two, you've got something. Just remember, trust isn't given easily here." The dog relaxes, sensing the older dog's understanding. They've found another ally, someone who knows the rules of survival in a world that doesn't care. The older dog teaches the younger dog and the kitten the ways of the streets, where to find food, how to avoid danger, and how to trust only when it's earned. Each day, the bond between them grows stronger. The kitten, once skittish, now follows the older dog's lead, learning quickly how to survive in this world. Despite all the chaos, despite the threats that still lurk in every corner, the dog feels something shifting within itself. It's not just about surviving anymore. It's about living, about having a family again, even if it's a family of misfits. The dog can protect them. It can keep them safe. And for once, it feels like it might actually have a future. The peace the dog kitten and the older dog have found doesn't last long. One evening, as the sky turns dark and storm clouds gather, the distant sound of footsteps echoes through the alley. The dog's ears perk up, its body tense. It's not just any footsteps. It's the sound of someone who means harm. The man who had shown interest in them before has returned, and this time he isn't alone. 2 other men flank him, their intentions clear. The dog's instincts flare, danger is here, and there's nowhere to hide. The older dog growls low in its throat, stepping forward to shield the younger dog and the kitten. "Stay behind me," he orders. The dog, despite its fear, stands firm, its body poised, ready to protect its newfound family. The 3 men approach slowly, their steps deliberate. The dog's heart races in its chest, adrenaline pumping through its veins. It's no longer just about surviving, it's about protecting the family it's come to love. The older dog charges first, a powerful leap that knocks one of the men to the ground. But the others quickly retaliate, and the situation turns into a chaotic blur of growls, snarls, and flashing teeth. The dog joins in, attacking the man closest to it with all its might. Kitten watches in horror, unable to understand the violence unfolding before it. But the dog can't stop. It has to keep fighting for the safety of its family. Just as it seems like the situation might turn in their favor, one of the men makes a sudden move toward the kitten. The dog sees the danger too late. The kitten's wide eyes are filled with fear as the man reaches out to grab it. But then something unexpected happens. The kitten, who has learned the ways of survival from the older dog, hisses and scratches at the man, surprising everyone. It may be small and fragile, but the kitten's courage in the face of danger is undeniable. The dog lunges forward, knocking the man away from the kitten just in time. The fight continues, but the kitten's bravery becomes the turning point in the battle. As the battle reaches its peak, the man who first approached them steps back, his expression cold. His voice rings out above the chaos. "You don't understand," he sneers. "This isn't about you. This is about what's mine. That dog doesn't belong to you." The revelation hits the dog like a bolt of lightning. And the man has been after it for some time, not because of its loyalty or companionship, but because it has something he wants, a past that the dog itself doesn't fully understand. The dog's mind spins trying to piece together the puzzle. Why would this man claim ownership? What does he want from it? The answers are unclear, but one thing is certain. This man will stop at nothing to get what he believes is rightfully his. In a final, desperate move, the older dog manages to overpower the second man, pinning him to the ground. The dog, seeing the opening, charges toward the first man, knocking him off balance and sending him crashing to the ground. For a moment, there's silence, only the sounds of the storm above and the heavy breathing of the fighters. The man who sought to take the dog looks up, his face a mix of fury and disbelief. "You think you've won?" he spits, his words laced with venom. But the dog, standing tall with its family beside it, knows that this victory isn't just about winning the fight. It's about reclaiming control of its life, its future, and the love it has fought so hard to protect. With the battle won, the dog, the older dog, and the kitten find themselves standing in the aftermath of the storm. The air is heavy with the scent of rain, the sky still dark but clearing. There is no cheering, no victory dance. Instead, there's a quiet understanding that the journey isn't over yet. The dog's heart beats slower now, but there's still a lingering ache. The victory was hard-earned, but it hasn't erased the scars from the past. Those scars run deep. As the dog looks around at its family, it knows that this moment is just the beginning of a much longer journey. The older dog nudges the dog gently, its graying fur soft against the younger one's side. "It's time for us to go," it says, its voice steady and warm. The journey ahead is uncertain. They can't stay in the alley forever, and they can't trust the people they once did. But as they walk together down the empty road, they find a sense of peace in each other's company. The dog, despite its past, has learned to trust again. The kitten, once skittish and scared, walks beside them now with more confidence. The older dog, while still a little weary, leads the way with a calm, steady pace, guiding the others toward whatever the future may hold. But there's one thing the dog knows for sure now. It's not just about survival anymore. It's about finding love, acceptance, and a place to belong. As they walk, the sound of footsteps suddenly reaches their ears. The dog's ears perk up, and the older dog stops, sensing the shift. It's not the sound of the enemy, it's the sound of someone familiar, someone who has come to offer help. The dog looks up to see a kind-hearted stranger approaching. She is a woman with gentle eyes and a soft smile, holding out her hand. The scent of kindness is strong around her, and the dog can sense the sincerity in her voice as she speaks. "I've heard about you," she says, crouching down to the dog's level. "You've been through so much, but you don't have to fight alone anymore." The dog looks into her eyes, searching for any sign of betrayal, but there is none. For the first time in a long time, the dog feels the spark of hope ignite. The woman explains that she runs an animal sanctuary nearby, a safe haven for animals, like the dog who have been abandoned or mistreated. She offers the dog a place to heal, to recover, and to find a new purpose. Her words are sincere, and the dog can feel the weight of her promise. "We take care of our own," she says. "You'll never have to be afraid again." The dog hesitates, still unsure of trusting a stranger, but the older dog nudges it, encouraging the decision. "This could be the beginning of something new," the older dog suggests, its voice gentle but firm. The dog looks at the kitten, who is now playfully bouncing around, eager for this new chapter. The decision is made. With cautious optimism, the dog follows the woman's outstretched hand, taking its first step into the unknown. The journey to the sanctuary is short, but filled with a sense of promise. The dog feels the weight of its past lifting, little by little, with each step. The woman talks gently to them as they walk, telling them about the animals they'll meet, the safety they'll find, and the love that awaits them. When they arrive at the sanctuary, the dog is greeted by a warm, welcoming environment. Other animals are there, some recovering from past trauma, others just happy to be alive. The dog feels the bond between them, a sense of unity that it hasn't felt in a long time. The dog lies down in the soft grass, the kitten curling up beside it, as the older dog watches over them. For the first time in a long while, the dog feels at peace, knowing that it has finally found a place where it belongs. Days turn into weeks at the sanctuary, and with each passing moment, the dog feels the deep wounds of its past begin to heal. The sunlight now feels different, warmer, less threatening. The once guarded animal begins to trust again, slowly learning the rhythms of this new life. It's not without its challenges. The shadows of past trauma still linger, but they are no longer all-encompassing. The older dog, wise from its own experiences, teaches the dog the art of living in peace. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It reminds. It's the quiet moments that make you stronger. The moments you didn't think you could survive, but you did. The dog looks around at its new family, feeling the weight of this truth. It's not just about surviving anymore. It's about living. Just when the dog begins to believe that it's finally found peace, a new challenge emerges. A potential adopter arrives at the sanctuary. A family looking for a companion, someone they can bond with. The dog watches from afar, its heart racing. Is this the moment? Is this when it will be abandoned again? The dog trembles, not knowing whether to run or stay. The kitten, now more confident, brushes against the dog's side, offering silent reassurance. The older dog looks at the dog, its eyes filled with understanding. "You are ready," the older dog says gently. It's okay to trust again. With the older dog's encouragement, the dog cautiously approaches the family, unsure but hopeful. The moment is tense, fraught with the fear of rejection, but it's also filled with the possibility of something new. The moment is agonizing, filled with the silent question that hovers in the air. Will the dog trust again? The family's voices are soft, coaxing, gentle. They speak in a language of love, of compassion. The dog's heart races, but it takes a step closer. In that instant, the dog feels a soft touch on its back. The family's child has reached out, a tender hand that strokes the dog's fur. The warmth of the child's touch is familiar, something the dog has longed for but never thought it would find again. A moment passes. The dog, after a long hesitation, nuzzles into the child's hand, a sign that it has chosen to trust, to believe in the goodness of others once more. The family exchanges looks, silently agreeing on what they've just witnessed. They knew it wasn't going to be easy, but the bond is undeniable. The dog has chosen them, just as they've chosen the dog. They ask the sanctuary worker, the kind-hearted woman, if they can adopt the dog. With a nod, the sanctuary worker confirms, her voice soft but full of warmth. "This is the beginning of something new for all of you." The dog looks up at the family, then over to the older dog, who gives it a final approving nod. The dog knows it's not abandoning the past, it's bringing it with it into this new chapter. This is not a goodbye. It's a new beginning. As the family walks away with the dog in tow, the kitten follows close behind, its small steps echoing the dog's journey. The older dog stays behind, watching the trio leave, but it feels no sadness. Instead, there's a quiet satisfaction. The dog has found its place in the world, and it's not just surviving, it's thriving. The road ahead will never be easy, but it will be filled with love, healing, and hope. And that is enough. The dog looks up at its new family, feeling the warmth of their presence, knowing that this is where it belongs. It's no longer the frightened animal it once was. It is a symbol of redemption, a testament to the power of second chances. Months pass since the dog found its new home. The once guarded animal is now blossoming under the care of its new family. It runs freely in the backyard, its body no longer stiff with fear but full of life and excitement. The sun feels warm on its back, and for the first time in a long while, the dog feels safe. The family has become its world, and in return, the dog gives everything it has: loyalty, love, and protection. The scars from the past may never fully fade, but they have shaped the dog into a resilient creature who knows what it means to love and be loved. The dog now curls up every night in the child's room, the warmth of the family offering a sense of peace it once thought was impossible. Even though the dog has found its place, there are moments when the past creeps back in. The sound of a car engine starting or the distant smell of a storm can trigger a brief moment of panic. The dog freezes, its body tense, as if reliving the painful memories of being abandoned. But now, it has a safety net. The child notices the dog's sudden stillness, and without a word, walks over and sits beside it, offering a hand of reassurance. The dog's eyes soften, and it leans against the child, its heart beginning to settle. The memories may never fully disappear, but with the child's presence, the dog learns to trust again. One day, the family faces an unexpected challenge. The child falls ill and is confined to bed. The dog watches helplessly, its usual companion lying still. It doesn't understand what's happening, but it knows something is wrong. The dog spends the next few days close by the child's side, not leaving, not even to eat. Its loyalty knows no bounds. The child's parents offer comfort, but the dog's role has become even more important now, offering warmth and companionship when the child needs it most. The family knows that in this small, furry companion, they have found something extraordinary. The dog's love is unwavering, and it shows them that no matter the challenge, love remains a constant. As time passes, the dog finds itself in a place it never thought possible. A home filled with love, warmth, and belonging. The pain of the past may still linger, but it no longer defines the dog. It has learned to adapt, to find joy even in the smallest moments. One day, as the dog lies in the sun beside the child, it reflects on the journey, one of hardship, loss, and eventual redemption. It was never just about survival. It was about finding a family, a purpose, and the ability to love again. The older dog from the sanctuary, now in the background of the dog's memory, had once said that healing takes time, but it also takes faith. The dog understands that now. Healing is a journey, and it's one that never truly ends. Years later, the dog's journey has come full circle. It has lived a life of joy, pain, healing, and love. The family that once gave it a second chance now sees the dog as an integral part of their lives. But as time passes, the dog grows older, its steps slower, and its fur grayer. One quiet evening, as the family sits together, the dog lies beside them, content, knowing it has given everything to the family that once saved it. In its final moments, it is surrounded by love, the love it never thought it would find again. The dog passes peacefully in its sleep, its tail resting gently on the ground, as if ready to embark on its final journey. It has known love, loyalty, and redemption.